Is it?
We like the draft. We do like the draft.
Do you like the first round?
And yeah, we like the first round.
Okay.
To a point.
At this point, are there any I's to be dotted, T's to be crossed, any work that's done? Or are you guys kind of like, okay, our homework is done and we're ready for the test?
Yeah, we're the boards, we're all good, like board's set, and it's really just talking to other clubs, talking about parameters, if you're going to move, which way you're going to move, who's leaning towards what, like which direction, and then trying to find out, like it's kind of like just like a foundation for a negotiation, so that you're not just cramming while you're on the clock. It's like, all right, let's get this ready. If our guy's there, this is what we would do. If he's not, we're out, that sort of thing. If we're going up, what does that look like? Don't look at me like we wouldn't do that either.
Trade up?
Yeah.
I'd be stunned.
Yeah.
I'd be stunned.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that. People would be like, you're full of horse.
You think that gets said too much? That you don't?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Well, do you feel like that's unfair? You guys?
No, we trade back much more than we trade up. That's a fact.
Right. Just talking first round. I know later rounds you guys will move up and down, but first round,
it's easier. It's just easier back there.
Yeah.
Like people are more willing to move around.
So you always say this is the Catalina wine mixer. It's a big deal, right?
It's a big deal, yeah.
Where does this rank for you as far as or is he saying pa? Where does it rank for you as far as the things that you do? I mean, it's
panned.
It's got to be.
Where does it rank? This is the best. This is the best. I mean, this is so much fun. It's such a cool experience for all the hard work for the guys, like all the hours, like the miles, the hours, the reports, the studying, the sources, the time away from everybody's families. It's just such a culmination. You think of all the work that goes into it, all the time that goes into it, and then you might pick 6 times or 10 times or and then. Heck, that one year we picked 3 times. That wasn't fun. So it's just like the culmination of all the hard work and what a great job everybody's done as the trainers, the doctors, all the coaches, and obviously the scouts.
You said you're talking to teams and getting a feel for which way teams might go up, they might go down.
Right.
Do you buy the information? Do you think it's misdirection? Do you think you're getting honest information?
That information is usually honest. Yeah. Hey, we're trying to get we'd like to get between call it like 10 and 8 or whatever, and you talk to teams all the way through. It's like, well, we're actually trying to go back. If we can't get to this number, we're going to try to go back towards you. So if you guys are looking towards, looking at getting up, we're going to. So it's just like that stuff's not the BS. The BS is like, like when you start negotiating. Yeah. And they won't tell you who they're picking either. So it's like,
right.
Yeah, they never do that for me anyway.
Yeah.
And Jason Light and I were just talking about it from Tampa Bay. We're like, they're right behind us like the whole way. So we usually talk about, the players and how you feel about guys and stuff like that. There's, when there's a little bit of a separation. And we were just talking a couple hours ago. So we can't even talk about anybody.
Because you're too close together.
We're like right behind us the whole way.
Yeah. Hey, so the other day I wrote down all of the GMs, which probably half of them I didn't really know. But you talked a little bit about getting to know the Jacksonville GM.
Yeah.
But do you pretty much have, are there some guys, like I know John Lynch, you guys kind of like-minded. Are there certain GMs that you'd be more likely to make a deal with just because of the relationship?
Yeah. I mean, you can work it out quicker.
Yeah.
I'd say like Howie, myself, or like I said, Jason's, they're too close to us. We probably won't do anything with them. But, there's certain guys, it's always a decision to trade within the division regarding John or Les and, those guys, Monty in Arizona. Usually draft day, it's not, that big of a deal, but, or the draft weekend. But yeah, there's a different comfort level, but you understand like all these guys, everybody has like different. We used to go off of Jimmy Johnson's trade chart, and that was much easier to negotiate back then. Now everybody has like the flood of analytics. Everybody has their own, and the analytics and the salary cap portion too, mixing that all together, and so everybody has different charts that they work off of. So the negotiations it's just become a little bit more difficult.
I'm sorry, real quick. I just read about that, about the Jimmy Johnson chart and for trading back, and what was so unique about that everybody was using?
It was just something that he developed, when they were with Dallas. I think it must have been, before they did the Minnesota trade, because that worked out great. But yeah, obviously the Vikings didn't have that. I guess they didn't have his chart.
It's the first time I've seen Pearson laugh.
But but everybody shared it, and it was just it was really so Ron Wolf, Bill Parcells, obviously Jimmy Johnson, Bobby Beathard, all those guys at that time. We were all working for those individuals. We were all able to work off the same numbers. So it's like, okay, well, if you're going here to here, then it's going to be this number, and then you got to kick us back a 6 or a 7, or we'll get close. Does that do it for you? If not, maybe next year's 5th, or you know what I mean. So everybody's kind of was more on the same page back then. Now it's like, hey, this is what ours says. What does yours say? And then you kind of negotiate off of that.
How flexible are you with you got your rankings of players as 1 through 200, 300, whatever it is.
Yeah.
When you're sitting there at 18, and let's say there's a player that's available that you've got ranked, 20th, and you're sitting there at 18, are you like, nope, we're hard and fast, he's not an 18th overall pick, or is there?
No,
there some...
it's by round it's different.
Okay.
But when you're within the round, you're okay there.
So a couple spots away.
Yeah. It's not like if you're talking about like overdrafting or underdrafting.
Right. If you got this player who you like, but we got him 24th, but we're picking 18th. That's too far. Or...
Yeah. No, and it depends on the year too, the strength of the class. So, but no, I mean, if you're picking 18 and you're picking somebody that's like really like call it like 35 or 40, then you feel like, okay, we've pushed a player.
There's so much more information now. So like, we talked about this last week about some of the guys like from like the 70s and 80s and 90s, that didn't work out, don't want to say they were busts, but they just didn't work out. But you didn't have all that information. But now, I mean, you have so much. Does it get like easier every year? I don't want to say easy, but like, does it, with all of that information, does it make it? You
can overthink it, no question. And we're very inclusive here, so there's a point where we kind of get hyper focused and rein it in. So whether that be with 6 guys in the room to Mike and myself to like the last day and a half, just myself, where it's the noise is kind of gone, all the information's there. Like, let's not overthink it. Let's like what's best for the organization. Period. Point blank. Like that's it, and not like, okay, well, like listening to outside noise or worried about people's feelings in the building, or a scout feels a certain way and we're going to go a different direction, or a coach feels a certain way, we're going to go different. It's like that stuff's gone. Here's what it looks like. Once they get here, they're our players, and we're going to do whatever we can to maximize their potential.
How often does the draft live up to what you expect based on you talk to the GMs, you talked about, you get a feel for who's moving up, who's moving down. How often are you sitting there going, whoa, I didn't see them doing that? Like just any.
I would say, every year, first round, there's probably about, there's probably about 5 or 6 things that happen that you're like, oh, wow, okay.
Just no idea that was.
Whether it's somebody took somebody that they were comfortable with the character or off the field issues that we weren't, or the personality or the competitor, or the first round's really usually not about wow, that guy's not good enough, you know what I mean,
right,
to be taken here. It's more about like the character.
Yeah. So you started off in Green Bay. Kind of cool.
Yeah, this is cool.
They have the draft there.
Yeah.
And just every year, it just seems like the NFL is just getting more and more like everything's an event. Everything from the combine. Like at the combine, nobody was in that building when I was there in '87. It was just the coaches. But now they've got fans and everything. And just kind of compare it a little bit to your first experience being in the room.
Wow.
As far as a draft goes compared to now. I mean, the coverage is just,
the coverage leading up to it, I think, is really I was just having a cup of coffee with my brother this morning. He flew in and we were talking about it. He just retired. He's like, I never knew that there was. He retired January 1st. He's like, I never knew there was this much coverage with the draft. I mean, I feel like I know these guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, do you? Yeah. I'm like, you're one of them now, huh? you're on the dark side, man. No,
is he sending you notes?
There's just so much, there's so much coverage. We were just talking about like think of these people have made a fantastic living off of covering the draft, on TV and the internet, and it's really amazing. I mean, it's like Mel Kiper was the only guy, and the insiders were basically like Chris Mortensen. Like, you know what I mean? There were not many.
Clayton.
Yeah, John Clayton. There were not many. Like all the information that goes into it. Joel Bushbaum was the big. You got Joel Bushbaum's book. You thought you had the whole thing licked. Like just go right by what he says, and you're good to go.
Wow.
So the coverage is is amazing. It's fun seeing everybody. In my hometown, like texting with like a bunch of the media people there that are covering it and everything, and like guys from other teams and stuff that have gone in there this weekend. I'm like, okay, you gotta hit this pub, you gotta go to that pub, you gotta the brats are better at this place, the cheese is amazing at Nicky's. It's fun.
I just marvel at how many people will travel from out of state to go stand there and watch a guy step up to the podium and make an announcement about, with the 18th pick, the Seahawks take blah blah blah, and then that's their whole day.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
it.
One of the exciting things I like is when the players do it, like Sherm's doing it, Sean Alexander's doing it. When they announce the picks,
right?
I think that's pretty cool.
They're doing the picks for the Hawks.
When the former players, they're doing the second round picks.
Okay.
Yeah, so if we trade out of the second round, I don't know how they're gonna figure that out. But
what about Dave's asking about all the advancements and information and all that?
Butt? That would be a good one for Sherm to talk about, right? Yeah.
What about the immediate scrutiny that comes? It's immediate. It's fast. It's Twitter. It's all over NFL Network. What are they doing? That's a great pick. That's a terrible pick.
Yeah, it's the entertainment portion. It's what everybody's excited about.
Is the guy on the receiving end of it though? Are you're like, oh, it's all good, or do you ever listen to it and go, what is this guy saying? I was talking about the other day. It's like, like it's just. Yeah, you need every need offensive lineman. Yes. Okay. we had our pro meeting where we goes through everybody's needs, right? Like 80% of the top 3 needs for every team is the offensive line, right? So, that's not breaking news.
It's like okay, well then if you take an offensive lineman, they might have taken him. I took him too high. It's like that kind of stuff when it's like
you're not going to win.
You can't. Yeah, it's like all right, when you can't win, but like it's kind of fun watching how sitting back and watching people talk about the player, and you're like, wow, that guy is totally full of crap, because like that is not true at all. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. So it's that part of it. The grades. I remember, I think Mr. Allen was like, we got an F, after when we drafted Russ and
the 2012
draft. Bobby
Wagner
and Bruce. That was a really
Bruce.
cool class,
Yeah.
and the national media didn't like it. It was like, we loved it. We thought we were pretty fired up. So then I remember being kind of bummed about that. Like, not bummed, like kind of pissed, like,
yeah,
oh, you're full of, yeah.
Wait to show you.
You go outside and, yeah.
Well, a few years ago, a few.
You're making Dave sweat over here.
Yeah, okay.
A few years ago, though, they. I can't remember who it was. Was it Forbes or somebody that came out and said that was like one of the best drafts in NFL history? The 2000.
It was? Yeah, that's cool. Well, I wish we would have read that one.
Yeah.
I wish we had that article.
Didn't you show me that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, it was in my office. It was on that plaque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's framed.
We do have, I don't know if you guys have been upstairs, we have the pictures of all we have the draft choices. Have you seen that, where we like all throughout the years? And it's like, it's kind of like you can walk by it like, ooh,
Yeah.
what was I thinking there? Like, it's like you literally go through it like, wow, that was cool.
Whoops.
Ooh, I remember that argument. Oh.
When you see those, are you like, I didn't do enough homework on that guy, or I ignored a red flag, perhaps, or
I didn't, I wasn't convicted enough, or I didn't ask enough questions, or there's like, it's a flogging, as Pete used to say. He's like, why do you look at that stuff? Like, you flogging yourself all the time. I'm like, we got to learn, man. We got to understand, like, what worked and what was awesome and why certain things didn't work. And there's lessons in all of it. So you try to, like, when I'm saying not to overthink things, you have to remember that stuff when you're sitting there looking at, when you're staring at your board and saying, like, okay, he's one of us. He's one of us. Like, I know this guy is part of our culture, and you have to feel really good about that.
One of the things you've done a great job with, and a lot of it because of this guy, Dave Pearson, you guys, there's no leaks, no information, like leaking out of the building. And how have you gotten better at that over the years?
I think we've been pretty good about it since 2010 when we came in, and that's really a credit to everybody has access to the room and the process. So it's really like we tell people all the time, we're gonna let you have access to this, and you're gonna be part of this process. We're all in this thing together, but with that becomes a huge responsibility to know that, like, if the loose lips sink ships thing, and if something gets out and we get hosed, then that's we start losing games. Like, we're not going to be here very long, and that's part of, like, our process. I've been, it's really only happened to us, I'd say, like, maybe 4 or 5 times where I was, pretty upset. But other than that, it's been really good.
Yeah. Man, I don't remember 4 or 5 times information coming out. It feels
neither.
like you guys are a vault.
And we're in that business.
Yeah.
And so.
Hey, you've talked in years past about, hey, this draft we see 15 legit first rounders. This one has 12. This one has 18. How do you feel about this year's draft? Do you have a number?
I do. Yes.
Is it 20?
That's one we can't
15?
talk about.
Can't go there?
No.
You're not saying that.
No, I don't.
Is it
we like the draft. We do like the draft.
Do you like the first round?
And yeah, we like the first round.
Okay.
To a point.
He's messing with us.
Vagueness.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
What about you brought Nolan Teasley down here last week or 2 weeks ago, and great guy. He's assistant general manager. Is that kind of your go-to guy? Do you have like 2 or 3 guys, that you over the years of kind of like, okay, I can't make a decision here or whatever. I'm going to go to this guy just to see how he feels.
Well, yeah, I would say Matt Berry, Trent, Nolan, Willie. They're really, I would say, go-to. I wouldn't say, like, everybody has a really cool niche.
Okay.
In my brain.
Yeah.
And how I view it. So, there's certain things that I love talking to Willie about. Jason Barnes, Matt Berry, Aaron Hine. Like, there's the Ryan Florence. To say, I don't mean to be missing anybody's, missing names here, but everybody just has a really cool role in a field and a niche, and especially when you're talking to the area guys about the people and the person, because we put so much emphasis on it. Mm-hmm. And their relationships and their texting, and hey, I talked to such and such. I talked to Dave Wyman this morning. He really hopes we pick him in the 3rd round. He's like, so it's kind of that part's pretty cool. Like, leaning on those guys for the relationships too.
Has your opinion on this year's draft changed at all from the way you viewed it at the very beginning of the process to where you are now, where you think it is what I thought it was, it's better, deeper than I thought it was, maybe not as good, or
different positions have changed a little bit, and that's happened with more background information, more medical information that we have, where we can't have certain guys. So now there's a lack of depth that we had perceived to be at one position, and now it doesn't look like that. Or there's certain positions where we've added guys, and guys have moved up, with the workouts and the comfort level with character issues and spring performance.
Hey, I don't know if you know this. I was just talking to Bailey out at the front desk, and I asked her, I'm like, do you have people calling here before the draft? And she's like, oh, yeah. There's people calling with the whole, like, sheet of who you should take.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's people that are sending in information, like, they ship it to the Seahawks. This is my board, and this is what you should do. And I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of cool, right? Like
I have a guy that somehow has my email that sends me he goes through one of the websites and does a mock draft and sends it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you respond to him?
No. No. I mean, I'm sure he's an awesome person, nice guy, but like you can't engage that way.
Is it Dave Pearson? Is he sending you his mock draft?
I got a really funny story about that after. I'll tell you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what about that? What's some of the lighthearted light moments that you remember over the years where something funny happened, or anything you can tell us?
Oh, man, lighthearted. I would say, in Green Bay, my dad, when we were at the Packers, my dad was. I was talking to my dad about Greg Olson. Loved Greg Olson, you know, like and we were in a position we knew we could get him. And my dad loved him too, and you know, we'd talk about him once in a while. You get that chance to get that Miami guy, and I was like, yeah, but you know, we really like this defensive lineman too, but he's only played 3 games. It's kind of, I think we're leaning that way, and we may just go like pure need because we need defensive linemen, and it doesn't look like a very deep draft after the first or second round, and I'm like, what's his issue? I'm like, well, he's got back issues. And how big is he? And I'm like, my dad's a retired orthopedic surgeon, you know.
Yeah. And
I'm like, well, he's 338 pounds. And he's like, he's got back issues already? And he missed how many games this year? Yeah. Yeah. And we ended up taking him and passed on Greg Olson. So my dad, like, never let that go.
He reminds you of that?
Yeah, he's like, you know, I told you not to take.
Back.
You passed on my guy. Yeah. And honestly, the poor guy, like, his back was an issue for 3 years.
Hey, by the way, do you think we'll ever get the draft here in Seattle?
That would be awesome.
Who's in charge of that?
I think Dave Pearson is. Yeah.
Is Pearson the one that makes that happen?
Yeah, I think
they can put it in Green Bay. They could put it here, right? I mean, what's?
I think it'd be pretty awesome to have it here down at the stadium.
Wouldn't it?
Have it through the two stadiums right there. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Great setup.
Dave, any progress? Yeah.
It's such an easy place. It's such an easy place to get to, too. You know.
Yeah.
We were talking like, how do people where are people staying in Green Bay? I'm like, I don't.
Exactly.
Are they staying in Milwaukee? Yeah. You know, like,
they're in Illinois.
Chicago. I don't. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's a cool place.
Yeah, and it's cool they had the Michigan guys on there last night talking about the tradition. You know, they were talking about Michigan, and then there's like neither one of them been to Green Bay, so they took them through the Packer Hall of Fame and all that, and they're like, it's pretty cool to hear that stuff.
Before we let you go,
yeah.
You going to give us a hint? You got anything in mind?
I'm sorry, man. I got rambling there. I had a lot of coffee this morning. So.
Do you have any rituals this morning?
Going. Yeah, I could go get a
lucky socks.
Get a workout in. Mass this morning. Get a workout in after this, and then get everybody together. Have a cool talk. You know, get everybody fired up for the weekend. You know, tonight's like this entertainment thing, really.
Yeah.
It's like then we wait for forever tomorrow to get going. And Saturday is really the most fun day. Really, it's like you're finishing it, and then the rookie free agency, the recruiting. You know, the coaches are like really involved in that. The coaches and the scouts team up, take certain positions. So it's pretty fun.
Just for the record, we both think you're trading out of the first round, or you're trading out of 18 anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Just for the record, that's our prediction.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
Are you guys having a draft show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Have a blast with it.
We'll be down here. Bring us something to eat, would you?
Don't pound the table like when you want to prove her. It's not.
He's going to be down here. What is Schneider doing? What is he thinking?
They could have got that guy in the third round.
No, this has been fun. It's fun every year, man. We love that you do this and really appreciate it.
Yeah,
fun.
And
hopefully we can continue with this moving forward. Yeah. But we wish you the best. Have fun tonight.
I'll call in. I'll be in the car. I'll call in or something.
There you go.
Whenever you want. You've got an open door policy.
Go down I'll hit a baseball game or something with you guys.
Let's do it.
There you go.
Let's do it. John, thanks so much, man.
Good luck, man.
Appreciate you.